All right, everybody, sorry about the bad angle, but we discovered some more damage to the engine here. Let me zoom in. So as you can see right there, that's the oil pan. And that black mark right there, that's a massive crack up the side of the block. That's a front.
Yeah, so, there's even a chunk of metal on the pan that's not there, right there where the crack is.
Yeah, it cracked all the way up the side.
That's insane.
All right, guys, we're back working on the Bonneville. We didn't make any more progress since last weekend, so we're basically where we were before. We just need to, at this point, disconnect the accessories and kind of just leave them hanging, disconnect the transmission, and then get an engine lift hooked up to it and disconnect the motor mounts, and should be good to come out. So we're just gonna be doing that. Is there a bucket under there?
Nope.
Yes, there is. Isn't there? No. Is there coolant still in here?
Probably a little bit.
Okay.
This fucking thing, it's like, I don't know how the fuck I'm gonna get this.
Yep, so we're just going to be working on that. It shouldn't be much more to get this engine out. We did not end up getting the lifters for the new engine, which we might, depending on our progress today, go out and buy some from AutoZone. Just LS7 lifters, basically. Tristan bought some, but apparently they're like back ordered or out of stock like everywhere. I have no idea why. But this is what we're dealing with today. We might not make enough progress to start building up the new engine over there, so we're going to be working on this, disconnecting all these accessories, and yes, we also have the wiring harness to deal with as well, but some engine grounds.
Oh, yeah.
Some stuff wraps around. Engine harness is kind of like a rat's nest. And then once we get the engine out, we could take apart the bottom end and see the piston that destroyed itself.
True
rod
that.
And everything.
I'm excited to see that.
So I'm gonna go ahead and get my tools out and stuff organized. So yeah, we're just talking about the AC compressor here. There's no issue with just disconnecting or unbolting it from the engine, so we won't need to recharge it. I mean, we could just take it completely out, but that'll just be more work. Also, just power steering and other stuff over here. That's next on our list. We did get under the car, and we're going to get a better idea of what we need to do for some of the harness. We just tied some of the stuff out of the way, but there are some grounds and whatnot under the engine that we need to take care of. I'm also going to go ahead and start taking these boys off. Ooh. I did break these loose. I had to do it with a wrench, a ratchet. No, my socket just fell under there. Thanks. Yeah, using these swivel adapters, they can definitely go awry.
I'm gonna take another look under the car, see what I can get, and then if we're good and we can lower it, it's gonna be easier to work on when it's lowered.
Yeah. So as far as I can see, I got all the top bolts out for the transmission, interfacing with the engine. There are some that we need to access basically coming in this direction. There's like 2 or 3, and then there's some under there that we need to get to. Also, this transmission mount, this bolt is bent at the bottom.
Yeah, like oh shit. I'm also like the jack is kind of on it. And that's, you know, exactly why that's a thing.
So that bolt right there is
when I bought it, it was like that.
So we'll just take an angle grinder at the bottom and take that out, I guess. Is it threaded all the way through?
Yeah, it is, but the only thing securing it is the nut on the bottom.
Yeah. So
but that is not a stock mount by any means. That's something that like people do with these cars. So for the transmission mount, it's like actually a boat. It's like a part on a boat, the rubber mount, because they don't make like really nice, good rubber mounts. They make like solid mounts and shit, and that's no good.
We also, it doesn't appear we can unbolt it from here because those appear to be studs. I mean, I might take one off and see how it looks, but that might be a stud going into the transmission. So taking that bolt off won't allow us to take it out. And technically, we don't even know if we're going to be removing the transmission. We might, depending on what Tristan wants to do to it. I mean, even just to get it out there and clean it and paint it, you know, we might do that. We can also paint it while it's in the car. You know, just stuff that we haven't decided yet. Once we get the engine out, we'll have a better idea of what we want to do with the transmission.
I'm pretty sure that all the wires that we need to get from down here are disconnected, so I think we can lower the car.
Well, let's not lower it yet, so we can cut that transmission mount.
Oh,
bolt.
okay.
Gotta cut that boy. Alright, so this kind of might give you a better idea of that transmission bolt, just completely sideways. As far as I know, this nut is the only thing that needs to come off and then it can go through, so we might need to cut it or do something with it. My idea was at the top, cut the bolt head off and then just pull it down through. We haven't decided we're going to do that yet. We need to disconnect these transmission lines from there. Well, I guess we might not need to, but if we're going to remove the transmission, we'll need to. And then...
oh, it'd be a lot easier, actually, just to do that once the engine's out.
That's true. Yeah, and then right there where my spanner is on, that's one of the bolts for the AC compressor. Right there. That's where one of the bolts is, just breaking those loose. And then we have an exposed engine and ground that we need to remove, and I can get to the starter down here. And past that, might be more transmission bolts up in here, but I think we need to come in from the passenger side to reach those. So I'm going to start disconnecting the AC compressor from down here, and then pull that off of the engine. Alright everyone, sorry about the light and the angle and everything, but this bolt right there, we started undoing, but that's actually to the bracket connecting the AC compressor to the engine, which the other bolt is actually sitting behind it, so you need to unbolt the AC compressor from the mount. So how I did that is there's a bolt that goes in right in there, undid that, and then up here, it's very hard to see, there are some studs, there's a nut on it, and then you need to remove the stud, so I can't reach those. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and remove the passenger wheel, which should give us some access to the AC compressor, as you can see right here.
Oh, snuck up on me. Hi.
Hello.
What? Hey, never mind.
He's a scaredy boy.
He literally just showed up there.
Isaiah's leaving. He's going to go hang out with his friends, or who are you going? Family?
I'm doing a birthday lunch with family, or early birthday lunch. But yeah.
Yep, Isaiah's birthday is coming soon, so wish him happy birthday.
Thanks, y'all. I appreciate you guys watching our videos. Make sure you subscribe and comment as well.
Yep.
Much
That's
appreciated.
that's the best birthday gift you could give him.
It's true. Alrighty. Well, have fun.
A shorter one.
Have fun.
So, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and get my impact and take this wheel off so we can get access to everything in there. No.
I want to be able to build it out of Davis's as well.
I would do that. I can't. I'm missing the...
Okay, no problem. Oh no, it's not.
What?
It's not right.
I know, we need to get a canopy.
Oh, yeah. Now, fine.
Alright, here we go. One wheel off. And then we just need to take out this fender liner, and that'll give us access to a lot of stuff, including the balancer in there. There's Isaiah's VQ. Give it a rev. Yeah.
If we go somewhere, then we could go by my house, but I cannot get this with this wrench here because it's too fat. But I loosened all these, so.
Why are you loosening those?
Thought we had to.
No.
It's gotta be released from the transmission at some
That's
point.
where it is.
Oh fuck.
I already took those out.
Whoops. My bad.
This boy.
Well, I just saw a seam and like.
Yeah, so for people who don't know,
That's right.
the converter and everything sits right here,
Shit.
input shaft's over here. After the input shaft, there's a sprocket, chain that goes down there, another sprocket, and your transaxles are there. So
Well, I'm just gonna snug them back up then.
yeah, that's probably for the best. Once we remove it, and if he upgrades it, we will need to remove this,
Yeah.
but not now.
So maybe gear change from 293 gears to 329 gears, like the reverse, and those are really good.
Yeah,
gearing.
they'll be better for acceleration, and it'll be nice, but also he's adding more power to this, and these engines are known to, you know, blow up in stock conditions.
And the expensive chains happen to also come with the gear change kits.
So that'll help reliability actually, and then stronger input shaft because you need to replace the input shaft. ZZP has a steel one, some like 4130 steel or something. And
So
then
realistically, for like $800, this transmission could be made quite a bit stronger, which would
at least handle like probably 315 or 325 wheel horsepower is what
because that's probably what it's pushing.
Triple Edge Performance said.
Or what it will push, I think, with the cam and the lower compression. I think that's probably what
higher
it will
compression.
Make. Higher compression, yeah. What do you think it'll make? I don't know I don't know what it was making before.
No one knows what it was making before. It ran a 13.7, so I mean, it could have been doing like below 300 wheel. I mean, Mustangs do that, but you are front wheel drive, and there's a lot of other,
Yeah, that was his fastest time. Is a 13.7.
Yeah, so this engine is going to have the 9 to whatever compression of the Camaro. It's going to have a 3.1 inch pulley on the supercharger. It's ported. Well, no, let's not do that. It's got ported lower intake manifold. It's got bigger injectors.
Yeah, it's got a Gen 3 blower. It's going to stay that for its entire life. I'm not going to switch to Gen 5, though.
Yeah.
Not worth it.
And then EGR delete, and it's going to have the cam, the VS cam, and...
Which is good. The VS cam should keep heat down
We don't have available... Like, I mean, there is places we can get E85, but... It's not common enough here where he can easily transition to it for a daily driver like this. So it's going to be on 92 octane.
I wouldn't even do that for the Camaro.
Yep.
Unless it was like special occasions, but
the Camaro,
I don't know how to tune for that kind of stuff.
The Camaro is getting methanol, so that will help with its heat because it doesn't even have space for an intercooler. Yeah, he also has an intercooler. So just to put in perspective with these AC lines, so you can see the low pressure and high pressure lines. They come out here, come up, they come up here. You can see this is the low pressure and high pressure release. They come down, go up, and then into the cabin. So you don't need it. If you unbolt it from the engine, you won't need to discharge your AC at all.
See what I'm talking about here, though? Whoever did that.
Oh, down there.
Whoever did that.
Yeah, we can get it.
Okay, what next?
I mean, if we want to get a canopy, we got to go do it. It's kind of stopped again, so, I mean, motivation is like...
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll need to get
Shall we lower the car?
No, there's no wheel here. We need to remove the fender well here to get to the AC compressor disconnected.
Oh, awesome.
So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and do that now. We just need to take out the inner fender liner here, and we could get to the balancer and everything. This is one of the motor mounts. So there's that one, and then I guess there's one on the other side, and then it should be ready to come out. Okay. We need to get the transmission bolts that go all the way through here or something. We'll need to look online and see how those go. Tristan says you need like 3 feet of extension, but
that's what I've heard.
We have so much room to work with here. I'm not so concerned about it. And yeah, and then
no one takes apart their engine before they take it out. So.
And then for the power steering pump, we might need to take the pulley off, or no, there's access holes to get some bolts. It's just kind of tight clearance because there's a frame rail here. And then once that's disconnected, just the bolts and then the mounts, and it's ready to come out. So we got the AC compressor all unbolted, so just pull forward and then to the side.
There we go.
And there's a bracket. Free. Yep, it's free, so you don't have to discharge it at all.
That's awesome.
And then free. We should disconnect. Well, we don't even have to disconnect the starter. It's it's connected in there.
Yeah.
And then all we have here is the power steering pump.
Yeah, we're gonna have to deal with that, I think, because the lines are on the bottom.
Also found a bracket right here that connects to the block. We have the motor mount down here, which goes right there. So I think there's a bolt at the bottom and then a bolt on the side. Right? There is a bolt on the side around there. I don't know if that's part of it. And then on this side, we have another mount. Might be just transmission mount, kind of down in there. It's kind of hard to see, but that might be what we're dealing with. And then we have the last bolts from the transmission under here. We haven't checked that yet. We still need to do that. And then the motor should be ready to come out. I'll disconnect that line, the coolant line. We're getting very, very close to removing this engine. And we don't have the lifters yet, so we might go out and buy those. We also have a lot of other odds and ends to do. We do need to clean. So on the cylinder head side, we have new valve springs to put on it, and keepers and retainers. These are really gross too, so we want to clean them somehow. We might make a homemade like parts cleaner. We also do need to resurface the heads, and there's quite a bit to do. Valve covers we want to paint. This exhaust we want to clean up and paint as well, possibly with the same ceramic coating stuff we have for Project F's engine, or at least like a black or a different color or something. And there's still lots to do on this. So we're gonna go ahead and I think next work on getting transmission bolts out, and then power steering pump, and then we should be good to disconnect the motor mounts and pull it out.
Yeah, pretty much.
Very quick, actually, or quicker than I thought it was gonna be.
I think that we might be able to get away with just doing these 3 unbolts, this bracket, and then
Well, let's test it.
yeah.
Taking that off isn't required for removing the engine because it's connected to the transmission.
Yeah, that is true.
Because
I keep
right
forgetting
here
that. Yeah,
is the line,
keep forgetting that that's where the transmission separates.
and there's lots of grime connecting.
Oh yeah, we haven't found that bolt that we need to get out.
Which
yet.
bolt?
The bolt that for some reason is super hard to get to. Haven't found that yet.
Oh, in the back? Yeah, it's probably just down here or something.
Yeah.
So we'll mess with that. That's probably our next order of business, is unbolting the power steering pump and then the rest of the transmission bolts, and should be good to go. We might need to look at the diagram.
Off just like the AC compressor.
Yeah, so if you look here, there's a bolt right there.
Yep.
That goes all the way through.
That's fun. That's
But
fun
there's access holes through the pulley, so that makes it a bit easier. But also there's stuff down here. Like there's more. There's one right here where my finger's touching.
Okay.
Kind of bad at camera angle, guys. I'm sorry about that, but yeah, it's just down there, and we'll just push it out of the way.
Cool.
There's probably 13 or something, just like this guy. If you want to get this guy in there.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about orange.
Yeah, that's really tough. Well, at least my one-handed camera-ness.
Yeah, definitely not gonna be able to do that with the other one. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, we still might need to go through the access hole because eventually, once you back it out far enough, it'll get stuck. You know, it is only finger tight. So.
Where's that 13 mil? We might be able to like get that on it.
Yeah, 13 mils on there actually, but it's not gonna fit in there. You'll need a.
What about through the access hole?
Well, sorry, I meant with the impact.
Yeah.
It's almost out. There we go. Turn it.
Oh, there it is.
So just like that, there's access holes. Also, there's another one somewhere. I think
Right
it's
on the bottom.
Bottom, yeah. That'll be tougher to get to, but I think we just do with a ratchet. Probably with that one here.
Yeah, that might work.
Another upgrade, easy upgrade that we could do potentially for the transmission is just replace the transmission, like add a transmission cooler basically.
Definitely want to do that for sure.
Transmission cooler. It's a great way to extend the life of your engine. And coincidentally, Vince is actually at his place right now replacing his transmission cooler lines because there's many points of failure in it and it just keeps popping off. So he upgraded to...
He's had to get it towed twice in the last 2 weeks.
Yep. So he's putting dash 6 AN fittings all the way through to a standalone cooler, not messing with his radiator, and just one line to it, one line back. And they're twist tight Summit Racing like lines, so it should be
That's what
good.
I was thinking of doing, is removing the transmission coolerness from the radiator, so like they don't co-heat each other up.
Yeah,
but I think that might be good for it. I'm not sure.
I'd prefer a standalone cooler. My Mustang has a radiator and then a standalone cooler. This one, most GM stuff, they share it with the radiator, so they could like cross-contaminate, or not cross-contaminate, like heat each other. And for example, with my transmission here, this is some 5/8 line, which is dash 8 AN fittings, and then here are my AN fittings going to the cooler. So that's just going to go up into my stock cooler, and that's how it's going to cool my transmission.
So I might do that. I might do exactly what you're doing with yours.
Yeah.
But I'm probably not going to do that until like spring or summer-ish because...
That's when it gets hot.
Yeah, I don't need a cooler right now.
Yep, Washington is next week, or this coming week is going to be lots of snow. Oh, there it goes. Nice. Yep, that'll just go out of the way. So now, all we have are bolts to the transmission under it. This line right here, and then transmission. Motor mounts.
Oh, there it is.
Just normal motor mounts.
Come on, bolt.
Might need to rotate it and come out one of the access holes.
Yep, there we go. Go, bolt, go.
Nice.
Oh, so now it's completely removed. Just need to
Probably
detach
zip tie it
that.
out of the
Probably,
way.
in fact, because
Here's a bungee cord to keep it out of the way.
what is? Okay,
You just hook it to the side or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait maybe until we drop it. No, okay.
Let's do it live.
The thing is I just don't want to like, I don't really want to be leaning on my fender too hard because I'm short as fuck.
How tall are you?
5'6".
Wow.
Where's one of our spare wheels? I need something to.
We don't have any. You just want you use your spare.
That might not be tall enough.
Stand it up vertically.
Vertically, I'm gonna kill myself.
You got your spare wheel right there. We could take off your bad wheel and you can stand on that.
No.
All right, well that's out of the way enough. So we got that to disconnect, just unbolt that.
Yep.
And
where's the little screwdriver? So I need to get that little clip out and then we can... Oh, I see that bracket you're talking about.
Yep. It'll be easy. You don't need to
Whatever. But, disconnect that.
Yeah, all we need to do is unbolt that from the engine. That should be fine. Heater hose.
Don't make me zip tie you too.
I'm gonna work on getting this off here. I need both hands for this, so I'm probably not gonna be able to show much on camera, but we'll show you once it's off. So this type of needle nose plier is very good. I was able to get it at this angle and pull it up. So now just push straight down on it. Yep, just straight down, and it'll slide off.
Just don't stab me.
Yep, almost.
There we go.
Cool.
Ew, what the fuck?
It's fine.
Well, I mean, it's just like I've run, you know, like the green coolant since I've owned this car, and it's still got fucking nasty ass orange Dex coolant in it. How the fuck does that happen?
All right, so we got that disconnected, accessories disconnected. We got that bracket disconnected, or at least off here,
bolt
off the block.
that was on the block.
So now we need to get to the transmission bolts, and then at that point, motor mounts and lift it out. All right, everybody, sorry about the bad angle, but we discovered some more damage to the engine here. Let me zoom in. So as you can see right there, that's the oil pan. And that black mark right there, that's a massive crack up the side of the block. That's a front.
Yeah, there's even a chunk of metal on the pan that's not there, right there where the crack is.
Yeah, it cracked all the way up the side.
That's insane.
So we were checking under here for more transmission bolts. We think we got all of them. And I was just under here and I saw this. I'm like, holy shit.
Now, if you guys have seen my my video on my Instagram, when it exploded, it was pouring oil out the back of it. Like, from here, from the crack of the engine and the pan, I'm surprised oil wasn't, like, gushing from that I could see. So, like, that's insane.
So this is the same bank where the piston over here got melted or broke near the back of the engine. So I think it came down and just, like, messed up that.
I'm wondering if it cracked all around the edge like that.
Yep. As far as we know, we're not going to be able to use this oil pan. No surprise there.
Can I see the flashlight?
Yep.
Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. Like, I'm not sure. The camera can't really see this, but it's cracked from here. All the way goes over.
Yeah, it cracked the entire oil pan, like, all the way up the side.
I can see, like, I can feel it right here.
Yeah.
You can feel with your hand. That's crazy. It did so much damage to this thing.
So, as far as I know, we got all the transmission bolts securing it to the engine. Looking at it now, let me see this. Looking at it now, there are some inspection bolts, like for the transmission. I don't know if that's attached to the engine anyway. I think that's just a cover on the transmission. But we got all the bolts to the transmission. I'll show you where the last one is in a second. And yeah, I just discovered this, and I'm like, holy shit! That's
Let me see the flashlight again.
A lot of damage. That's a lot of damage.
Shit, I'm gonna have to undo that fucking. I'm gonna have to undo that plug right there. Also, there's this weird bracket that's like hiding this thing, this electronic. I think that's an oil pressure sensor, or that's the oil level. But it's got this weird bracket around it, so it can't get like hit. That's gonna be hard to get out. Yeah. Like, we're gonna have to remove that sensor. Damn, it did so much damage. I can see the crack to the block come down and into the oil pan.
Yep. So since we removed those bolts, it actually looks like the transmission and motor have separated a little bit already. So that's a good sign. The last one we had was down here, and Tris and I are actually unsure how people get to those without removing the cylinder head. Like, it's really tight down there. So that also leads me to my other point. Like, looking at it, It almost might be easier to put the bare block back in like this and then build the cylinder heads and everything on top of it, because there's just not a lot of room back there where we need to get to a lot of crucial stuff. So there's a lot of electronics, the exhaust, everything. So we're not exactly sure how we'll proceed with putting the engine in, if we need to get the cylinder heads on first, or if we can put the block in here, because we're easily able to take it apart while it's in here. So it might be kind of easier to do it while it's in here versus putting it together outside and then putting it in and having to connect everything back, because there's seriously not a room. Like what Tristan's doing right now, he wouldn't have room to do it if the cylinder head was on, you know?
True that.
So we're getting very close to taking the engine off. We have that transmission bolt down there, this one, that one, and that one. And as far as we can tell, under there, that's all there is. There's no more transmission bolts under there. So we're going to proceed with taking this apart. And now all we have is the motor mounts, as far as I know, some electrical stuff that Tristan's working on, and we'll be able to pull out the engine. We got the engine lift out over here, and I'm not sure where we're going to set it. I guess it's not very crucial to set it, you know, someplace safe, because it's a fucked motor.
Could be a lawn ornament.
Yep, could be a lawn ornament. You can clean it up and make it into a table. Just put like a glass top over it. Yep, so. But we do want to see the carnage inside, so
That's a nasty table.
We will take the oil pan off and take a look at it. So alrighty, we're going to continue with that and show you once we have the engine on, or get the engine lift over here.